What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Finally Lost It Part 3. Now you guys know the like goal is 500 likes, so if you guys want to hit that like button, please hit that like button, it would be really appreciated. Also hit the subscribe button. And if you guys want to know exactly when I upload, press the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. Thank you guys for all your support. We hit 22,000 subscribers. It's absolutely amazing. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Chapter 6, Kyoto Plan. Rias went home to the others who stayed up all night waiting for after Akino, Kibo, and Konako came back so soon. They all looked with one question in their minds. What happened? Kiba started off with an explanation and then Rias slowly continues from where he left off, after she told them everything. He really has changed, huh? Rossvices said. At least he's still with us as our comrade and friend, Ravel replied. So he's no longer in love with any of us, Azia said. I miss the old him, Gasper replied. As do we. But it's because of some of us that he's changed so much so soon, Akino said. The one man who loved us unconditionally. It didn't care if we were a fallen, a devil, a phoenix, angel, or anything. He used to love us for us. He still does, but no longer the way he used to, Rias replied. Can you blame him? We weren't exactly the most supportive when he was afraid to confess, Irina replied. Now that Issei mentioned it, he's right. I wasn't in love with him. After the whole Kokaville incident, I tried to have my way with him only to have strong kids. I didn't love him like the rest of you did. Fuck, I'm a horrible friend. So where is he now? Gasper replied. No idea, honestly. He sat on the bench even after I left, Rias said. Shouldn't we look for him? Konako replied. No need. He needs his space. Let's respect that, Kiba replied. Yeah, let's just rest for the day and start training tomorrow. The rating game is coming up, Rias replied. Yes, everyone said in sync. Issei decided to go for a walk after sitting on the bench all night. As he walked, he felt better about how it all went down. He was more at peace now than before. After a while of walking aimlessly, he ended up right where it all began. The park where Rainier murdered him and where Rias brought him back. What are you thinking, Issei? Dreg replied. Everything, Issei said. Do you feel sorry for them or yourself? Drake said. No. I'm not sorry for what I did, just sorry that I had to do it, Issei said. Issei, you've been up all night. Go to sleep, man. You need to train soon, Drake replied. I'll go to a hotel for a day. Leave the others alone for a while, Issei replied. Wise choice. Honestly, I think you've grown a lot in the past 2 months and handled everything as well as one considering everything, Drake said. Yeah, me too. No more pervert stuff. People like me more because of it. I have good friends who were by my side the whole time. I was down in the dumps. That includes you, Dreg. Thanks. What are partners for? Issei smiles and books a hotel room for the day and resets, and finally without any nightmares. By the end of the day, Issei woke up, paid, and left for home. As soon as he walked in, his parents greeted him. Welcome home, Miki said. Glad to be home, Issei replied. Goro, where have you been? The girls are all upset. I decided that my relationship with them should be platonic, Issei replied. Wait, what? I thought you loved them, Miki said. I do love them, but not the way you think, Issei said. What about Rias? Goro replied. I'm not in love with her anymore, Issei replied. What? Both parents said in surprise. Yeah, I'm done with love. Sex, porn, everything. I got rid of all that crap in my room too, Issei said. I don't know if I should be worried or proud, Issei. What will happen to the girls living here? Miki replied. No need to worry. We are all still family in a way. Just don't expect any grandkids from me. Sorry, Issei replied. Issei, we love those girls as our own, but you're our son. Tell us what happened. Long story short, I'm not compatible with any of them as a lover. Azia's like a little sister. Irina's my childhood friend. The others, well, it just didn't work out. And my love life with them reached their end. I don't want to hurt them, Issei says. Miki hugs Issei. Issei, I know that there's a lot more to it, but do tell us when you want to talk, okay? Issei hugs his mother back. I promise when the time is right, I'll tell you both everything. They break their hug. There's something you should know. I have to go to Kyoto again. Sensei says he needs help. How long will you be gone? Goro repeats. 3 weeks at most. That long? Relax, Mom. It's just work. Kind of an internship. I hope you don't get involved with anything bad, Goro replies. I'll be fine. There are a lot of kind people there, and it's beautiful, Issei replies. Who's going with you? Besides Sensei, not sure yet. Well, call us and let us know if you want to talk or anything like that. Okay? Sure, Mom. Dinner will be ready soon, Garo replies. Issei nods and goes to his room. He takes a shower, changes his clothes, and then starts packing. After doing so, he calls Azazel. I assume you're ready to train in Kyoto, Azazel replies. Yeah, when do we leave? Tomorrow, if possible. I already packed. They end the call and Issei exits his room and bumps into Ross Visa. Issei, you're back? Ross Visa replies. Yeah, but I'm leaving for Kyoto tomorrow with Azazel. I'm going with you. Suit yourself, Issei replies. We should tell the others. I'll tell them. Come on, they are waiting, Issei replies. They both have dinner with everyone and there's silence. That was tense as it can be. Guys, I'm going to Kyoto tomorrow with Azazel. And Ross Visa tagged along, Issei says. Akano, I can come if you want, Rias replies. Thanks, but you two need to prepare for graduation. It's a big day for you two, Issei replies. Oh right, I almost forgot, Rias says. Issei helped with the dishes and then went to bed, but still sleepy even after sleeping almost most of the day. They did notice the dark circles under his eyes, but already knew the cause. The next day, Issei said farewell to everyone and secretly teleported to Kyoto with Ross Visa. Azazel was already there waiting for them. I'm glad Rias came along. It's good to have someone we can trust. You ready, Issei? Azazel replied. As our ever be. Let's do this, Issei says. They walk to the shrine and are greeted by Yakuza. Yeah, welcome, Red Dragon Emperor, Governor General, and Lady Valkyrie, Yakuza says. Thank you for having us, Lady Yakuza. Issei and the others bow in respect. Yakuza being the one with the natural flow of energy of the earth, and those who inhabit and sense something different about Issei. He was much too different in such a short amount of time. Azazel told me something about a hollow bidding you? You wish to control it, don't you? Yakuza replies. I do. I won't turn into one that can hurt my loved ones, Issei says. Well, you came to the perfect place. One of our own was born with hollow powers and mastered it, Yakuza said. Born with hollow powers? That's a first. Come. It's best to meet her yourself. Issei says to himself, her? His fear kicked in, but he didn't want to take control like before. He powered through it, even though when his heart was beating fast. They follow her deep into the territory and come to a stop in front of a small house. We are here, Yakuza says. She knocks on the door and opens mere seconds later. A beautiful woman was once opened the door, and her beauty was above even Rias and Akano's combined. Oh my, Azazel said. Azazel had a little blush, but surprisingly Issei didn't. Well, not that surprising when you think about it. Everyone meet Ari. She's the one who mastered her hollow powers all on her own. You really are too kind, Lady Yakuza, Ari replies. Ari, this is Issei Hyoudou, the Red Dragon Emperor, accompanied by the Governor General of the Fallen Angels and Ross Visa, the Valkyrie. It's an honor to meet you all. Ari, the three bow. The honor is ours, reply the three. So how may I help you, Ari says. Issei was bitten by a hollow, and his mask already appeared once. We need him to learn how to control it to avoid letting the inner hollow control him. I can help, but I need to know a few things. Where was he bitten? Ari replies. Little over a month ago. And what type of hollow? Vastrolordi. Ari's eyes widen and her ears pointed backwards. Her 9 snow-white tails stiffen. How are you still alive after encountering one of those? That's just it. It turned into dust after it bit me, Issei replied. Good, that's good, Ari says. Please explain, Ross Visa says. That means that the Vastrolordi barely had enough energy left and transferred whatever it had to Issei, but it grows over time until it reaches its prime and it can be controlled little by little, Ari says. But, Yakuza says, you possess that particular sacred gear. If you lose control, then you would turn into a Vastrolordi that commands the boosted gear. And I don't have to tell you what would happen after that. Issei's power would be limitless and unstoppable, Azazel says. In other words, we're all done for, Ross Visa replies. When do we start training? Issei says. Right away. It's important that it'll be far from easy, Ari says. I expect nothing less. Is it possible to control it within 3 weeks? Issei replies. I hope so. I hope you have a rating game to a 10. I know you have a rating game to a 10, Ari replies. If you don't mind, would you show us that controlled hollow powers look like? Sure, Ari says. Ta-da, Ari replies. I can't sense your power, even though I know you're stronger in that form. Just one of the tricks you learn in time, Ari replies. Ari, I'll leave the Red Dragon Emperor in your care. One of his companions will be by his side just in case. Better safe than sorry. Ari replies, "Thank you for helping me, Lady Ari." "Oh, please, just Ari is fine. Come inside. There's an underground training space," Ari says. Issei bows to Yakuza and enters. Once the door closes, her smile disappeared and a serious look appears. "A Vastra Lordi? Please tell me I don't need to worry," Yakuza says. "That's why we are here," Azazel replies. "Well, how did one appear in the human world?" Yakuza says. "Telling you that would raise more questions as to how Issei encountered one. Let's talk over tea," Azazel says. "I'll stay here," Rosvicer replies. "We won't be far. Call us in case you need our help." Azazel says, "Right," Rosvicer replies. And that is the end of Part 6, The Kyoto Plan. Part 7/Chapter 7, Self-Control. "Okay, so Red Dragon Emperor, let's start," Ari says. "What's the first step?" Issei says. "Alright, I'll make it brief. There are a few things you must know. 1. You can only master the power to its current level. Once the hollow within gets to its prime, you have to find a way to master, but there's where you'll be on your own," Aegir says. "What?" Issei replies. "I was born with hollow powers equal to an Anaxar max, but you were bitten by the strongest there is, a Vastra Lorde." Ari replies. "So what do you think my current level is?" Issei says. "According to Azazel, the mask appeared, which means that you're at a lower class Menos, but you still need to control it," Ari replies. "And how do I control a creature that is nothing but hate and bloodlust?" Issei replies. "That is where it gets interesting. Not all hollows are like that. Most contain some aspects of their memories or personality. Also, it's not just some creature, it's you." "What?" Issei says. "The hollow powers are a part of me, and now a part of you. You and the hollow are two sides of the same coin," Ari replies. "Interesting. This does simplifying things," Drake says. "To an extent. So do I look inside myself or meditate?" Issei replies. "Yep, the hollow within you is a manifestation of your hate and anger. How will you control it will be up to you." Ari replies. "Should I put up a barrier?" Rosvicer replies. "Yes, the process can be a bit dangerous for everyone, to be honest. Issei will have his internal struggle, while try to avoid an external one." Ari replies. "Then I better get started," Issei says. Issei sits on the ground and begins to meditate. Rosvicer creates a barrier, and a very strong one. "Can he hear us from inside the dome?" Ari replies. "No," Rosvicer replies. Good now. If it's not much to ask, how did he get bitten by a Vastra Lorde of all hollows, especially in the human world?" Ari says. "I may be at a place for doing this, but I think you should know. Here's what happened," Rosvicer starts saying. With Azazel and Yakuza, scene break. "I'm sure you noticed a lot have changed in him," Azazel says. Yakuza's still serious. "How could I not? Just a little over a month ago, he was the strong, optimistic Red Dragon Emperor that saved me from the Chaos Brigade with the help of his friends, and now there's barely a shred of that left in him." "What happened to him?" Yakuza says. "A misunderstanding that led to a deep, dark truth behind being revealed, which led him to being heartbroken yet again before the old wound eventually fully healed," Azazel says. Yakuza just sits there in silence. "I'll tell you everything over tea. You have the right to know since you agreed to help us," Azazel says. "I couldn't really refuse since all of you helped save me in Kyoto," Yakuza says. "Which reminds me, where is Kuno?" Azazel says. "I sent her somewhere safe. She really looks up to Issei. In his current state would scare her, I fear." Yakuza says. "It scared us too," Azazel replied. The two had tea and Azazel told her everything, from Issei being hunted down by Fallen to his current state. Azazel knew about how Issei broke off his intimate relationship with the girls, but didn't feel like it was his place to say it. But Yakuza figured it out on her own. "I assume he no longer loves the girls like before," Yakuza replies. "That is correct," Azazel says. "And what about the girls who didn't turn to hurt him like they did?" Yakuza says. "It's strictly platonic relationship at this point. He's too afraid now. He discarded his dream of having a harem completely and no longer has any interest in even looking at girls the way teenage boys should. Just before the incident, that's all thou about but now. That's all though about now." "What about the scars on his face? Did the hollow cause that?" Yakuza wrote. "No. It was Rias. She hit him when she got emotional after Rias was scared of confessing," Azazel says. "I'm surprised he hasn't killed Rias Grummery at this point," Yakuza says. "He almost did," Azazel replied. Yakuza nearly spit out her tea. "When his hollow powers manifested, everyone came to stop him, including Rias. He straight up attacked her, and if it weren't for the others, then she would be dead. And so he would have since a devil killing or abandoning of their master marks them as a stray." Azazel says. So not to avoid causing more pain to us, he came to us. I can't imagine the pain he's in, Yakuza replied. Far too much. But he has friends and family helping it out now. Just one of the few reasons he hasn't gone full hollow yet. I'm glad he's not alone. His anger and loneliness would have been the death of him and us, Yakuza replied. Indeed, a vast reality combined with the boosted gear, his power would have reached Devil King or greater easily. A terrifying thought indeed, Yakuza said. Back with Issei in his training, Issei sat in silence and looked deep inside of his subconscious. He looked around and saw all of his memories, everything he experienced, everything he left. He lost in his memories of his old life until he saw the ones he dreaded. Rainier killing him, Rias reviving him, using him, loving him. All the others who were there but hid the truth, and some of them completely turned him into a villain. Made him feel all like shit. All those negative emotions came rushing back. Then he saw the darkness. What emerged from the darkness was a figure, the very same one that bit him. It charged at Issei with great speed. He dodged it but barely. Issei summoned his boosting gear, but it didn't appear. What the? Drake? I need your help. Drake? Issei said. No response. Only the blood-curdling screech from Hollow echoed through his subconscious. Looks like I'm on my own. Come on, you bastard, Issei says. Issei engaged into hand-to-hand combat. Outside, Issei's mindscape, we're back with Rias and Eri. So what's happened, Rias says. Eri looks down in sadness. Damn, it's a miracle that he hasn't gone full hollow after all that. Since he's afraid of women, then how is he here asking for my help, Eri replied. He was shaking bit even when Lady Yakuza or you and I were close by. You may not have noticed, but I did. Thankfully, he knows that he has a problem and is trying to overcome it, Rias says. How is he recovering? On his own? Eri replies. He isn't alone, Rias says. I'm glad that he has good friends. If they really were good friends, then he wouldn't have been in this situation, Rias says. Rias was now sad, and that she was to a comrade and his friend, but didn't help him when he needed. None of them are paying attention until they hear a growl. They both look at Issei as the growl came from him. They saw it, the same mask appearing again, but there's more. It's beginning to cover parts of his torso, slowly spreading to his neck and all the way to his back. Oh shit, Ari says. What do we do? Rias replies. Reinforce the barrier. If that fails, you'll need to call Lady Yakuza and Azazel, Eri replies. Rias creates more barriers just in case, then calls for them to rush over. They arrive in under a minute since they couldn't teleport due to the anti-teleportation ruins all over the room. What is Oh shit, Azazel says. We should stop him, as Yakuza says. Not yet. Issei is still in control to an extent, Eri replies. How can you tell? Rias says. With his current level, he would have busted the barriers by now and used the boosted gear. So what's happening to Issei? Is this part of the process? Azazel said. Yes, he's fighting the hollow within him. Now back into Issei's subconscious. Issei was actually holding his own, but not enough to overpower him. The hollow wasn't slowing down. It may be the same one that bit him, but it was strong enough to push him into a corner slowly. Issei eventually saw an opening and elbowed it right in the face, which began to crack. The hollow stopped, and half of what we know was a mask. But was behind the mask was a real shocker. Issei himself, his hollow self. His hollow self looked at him and smiled. Who are you? Issei says. Isn't it obvious? I'm you, Hollow Issei says. Like hell you are, Issei said. Issei started fighting his hollow self with even more rage, more power. That's right, keep fighting, I love it. Hollow Issei says. Shut up, Issei says. Outside, Issei was looking more and more like a hollow with each moment. Issei let out a sound that was a mix of his voice and the hollow. His gauntlet appeared. Dreg? Azazel said. I'm trying, Azazel. I can't reach Issei, but I can't stop him from using my power as much as I can. But it's becoming too much, Dreg says. We have to stop him, Yakuza replied. We have no choice. Better safe than sorry, Ari says. Ari hollified. Entering through a hole, Rias made in the barrier, followed by Azazel and Yakuza. Once they entered, Issei was even more terrifying. Up close, he looked at them. They began to try to restrain him without injury, but he was growing stronger. Boost! Everyone stop holding back because he's not, Drake replied. Damn it. Balance break, Azazel says. Azazel, now an artificial balance breaker, tackled Issei and then slashed him with his golden spear. It wounded Issei, but it healed instantly like a phoenix heals. High-speed regeneration? He's full of surprises, Azazel said. Azazel let him try, Eri replied. Eri in her hollow forms used her Siro merged with sage magic. Flame Siddle. Eri launched an attack. She launched an attack while Yakuza bound Issei using magic seals. Azazel used gravity magic to keep him from moving. Rias is still trying to maintain the barriers from collapsing due to everything happening. Inside Issei's subconscious, "Just go away," Issei says. "No can do, I'm a part of you now," Hollow Issei replies. "I hate you." Do you hate me or yourself, since we're both the same person?" Hollow Issei says. Issei froze. Issei just sat there in silence. Hollow Issei also stopped fighting. "Figure it out yet?" "No." "Well, we can fight again next time. Toodles," Hollow Issei said. "Wait, get back here. I want answers." "I'm you. Whatever you know, I know. So ask yourself. Our time for today is up," Hollow Issei replies. Issei is then forced out of his subconscious before he can register what happened. He wakes up and sees the four around him as he found himself laying on the ground. "Welcome back. How do you feel?" Ara replies. "I'm somewhat okay." He gets up and looks around. "What the hell happened here?" Issei said. "You nearly turned into a hollow and almost took us down," Yakuza says. "Wait, all four of you?" Issei replied. "You grew more powerful every minute," Rias said. "And did so by using Drake's power, who also trying to stop you from using him," Eri says. "I'm so sorry." "It's okay. We knew the risks. Take a break from now and tell me what you experienced." "Why wait? I fought my doppelganger. Well, the hollow inside of me. It looked like me, but it was more ruthless and bloodthirsty and downright cryptic. Or should I say I attacked myself? It was all very confusing." Yakuza and Azazel just sat there in silence. "Rest for now. We can talk about it after you ate something. You have been in your hollow state for a few hours now," Eri replies. "Hours? It felt like a few moments in my subconscious," Issei replied. "Which is another plane if you ask me." Eri replies. Issei returns a smile. "With so many supernatural beings in multiple dimensions." "Makes sense." Issei replies. Azazel saw Issei smile again. Just a few hours ago, he was shaking. He was proud that Issei was already making progress in more ways than one. "Glad you're okay, kiddo," Azazel replied. And that is the end of Chapter 7, Self-Control. Chapter 8, Acceptance. For the whole week, Issei trained, but it was the same result each time. Eri, Rias, Azazel, and Yakuza all had to restrain Issei and break his mask every time he lost control. Issei lay in deep enough. Every time he fought his hollow self, he would get the same response from it. "All that you know is all that I know, but the difference is, I'm what you're afraid of the most." What did that mean? Issei thought to himself. "Still confused, huh?" Ari replied. "Oh, hey, Ari. What's going through the mind of the Grabbing Dragon this time?" Ari said. "Please don't call me that. I hate it," Issei replied. "Oh, that's right. You hate what you used to be," Ari said. "Who told you? Azazel or Rias?" "The latter." "Oh, right," Issei said. "You were overthinking it," Ari replied. "How so?" "I can't tell you. If I did, then you'll never master the power within," Ari replies. "Yeah, that's fine," Issei says. Ari looks at Issei as he stares off into the distance. She noticed the 3 scars on his cheek, and she whispers to herself, "How did I not notice that he has the same marks as I do?" "Hey, Issei, funny thing," Ari says. "This ought to be good. We have the same marks on our cheeks, and you also have similar marks when your mask appears," Ari says. Issei touches the 3 scars that Rias gave him, and it just reminded him of everything. Ari saw the look of despair in his eyes, and her ears dropped and failed to attempt to lighten the mood. "Looks like I brought up some bad memories. I apologize," Ari says. "Don't be. No one lives a perfect life. This is just part of mine," Issei replies. Issei, "I know you're still hurting inside," Ari replies, "but I forgave them. I still care for them and want us all to be together." "But did you forgive yourself?" Ari replied. "Forgive myself?" Issei said. "Yes. You made some mistakes in your past. You were extremely perverted, but you're miserable now. You're angry about everything and you hate yourself now, don't you?" Issei just sits there in silence. "Forgive yourself and accept it," Ari replies. "How can I? My perverted nature affected the entire underworld. Those poor kids. Almost all the women in my team and many others I mostly thought about adding to my harem. I thought about them as objects to fulfill my own desires. Damn it," Issei says. "But you still love them. You saw them as people, as they were, not titles they carry. You were kind to them, and from what I hear, you refused to make a move because you knew it wasn't the right time or place," Ari replied. "You're a Good man, Issei. Don't let the dark consume the light. You deserve to love too. Ori gives Issei a quick kiss on the cheek, then walks away. Issei placed his hand on his cheek and thinks, her kiss was softer than any of the girls. Forgive myself, huh? Issei replied. What are you thinking, Issei? Drake said. Nothing really. It's a whim, but it's something worth trying. Shouldn't we call the others first? Drake replied. No need. I think this might work. Charging in without a plan or backup. There's the partner I know. Ha! Alright. Issei begins to meditate and enters his subconscious. Hollow Issei. Back so soon? I want to talk. Oh, that's a first, Hollow Issei replied. I know what you are now. Most importantly, I know who you are. Do tell. You're me. I've been telling you that all week, dumbass, Hollow Issei replied. You're also the part of me that I'm scared of. The anger, the sorrow, the bloodlust, all of it, Issei replied. Now we're getting somewhere. It took quite a while for the obvious to sink in, Hollow Issei replied. Issei walks closer to him. I want to thank you. Wait, what? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten stronger. I wouldn't have been alive. Hollow Issei was now getting irritated. Cut the sentimental crap before I cut you down. Fight me, Hollow Issei replied. No. I'm done fighting. I won't fight myself. It won't get me anywhere in life, Issei replied. Why aren't you attacking me? I nearly killed you every time we fought and took over your body. Nearly used your sacred gear against everybody, Hollow Issei said. You mean those who hurt me? Issei said. Huh, what? Issei smiled. You were trying to protect me, weren't you? The day when the mask appeared and you tried to slash Rias. Hollow Issei just sat there in silence. I owe you big time, you know. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to protect those who are precious to me as much as I did. Enough, Hollow Issei said. Hollow Issei tried to punch Issei, but Issei smiled and hugged his hollow self. Thank you. I wouldn't be there without you, so thank you. You finally figured it out, huh? Hollow Issei said. The Hollow's Issei's mask started to crack and crumbled away, revealing a Hollow's eyes crying tears of joy. I'm happy. I'm happy you finally accept me. Take my power, no, take our power, and show the world not to mess with the Red Dragon Emperor. But know this, you're part of the generation which grows strong and quicker than most. You will without the question get more than you bargained for. Hollow Issei replied. Hollow Issei disappeared, leaving Issei alone in his subconscious, but with a heart that is now whole once again. Issei exists in subconscious and wakes up into the real world better than ever. Issei can feel the power his other self left for him. He knows what he has to do. Issei places his hand on his face and manifests the mask. It appears and he feels the power go through him. Incredible! So much power! You've surpassed the armor promotions greatly! Congratulations, Drake replied. Issei lets out a victory roar which scales the other four and makes them rush over. They appear behind him. Oh no, the mask has appeared. Issei turns around. Hey everyone. Issei, you did it? Yakuza says, yes. How? Ari said. I have you to thank for that. Ari blushed slightly. How did I do that exactly? Ari was still confused. Just a while ago, Issei was losing control and now he mastered it? Your advice on forgiving myself and accepting what I am. And, Rossweiser replies, I am a Hollow, the Red Dragon Emperor, a pawn of Rias Grimory, and most importantly, I'm me, and that's what I accept and embrace. They all smiled. Welcome back, Issei, Rossweiser replied. Thank you. And Ari? Yeah. What's the next step of my training? Issei said. Timing. Let's see how long you can wear the mask. The more that you practice, the longer you can use the Holophyte state. Let's start away. Only 2 weeks till the rating game, you know. Let's do this, Issei says. Both start training and Ari Holophyte herself to match Issei. Issei thinks to himself. So glad she can't see my red face right now. Damn, she's cute, Issei replied. I think she's better fit for you than the others. Haha, Drake replied. Focus, Drake. Usually I'm the one telling you to focus. They begin with practicing increasing Issei's time limit, then later how he can use Ascalon combined with his hollow powers, and same with the Dragon Shot. Issei didn't risk using Balance Breaker because he wanted to go step by step. The warning from his inner hollow self burned into his memory. Combining hollow powers with Drake's powers might be too much. This continued for almost 2 weeks. He could wear his mask for at least an hour, and his energy-based attacks were now blackish red. His secondary Dragon Shot type attack was now called Zero Shot, and the slash wave released from Ascalon is now called Hollow Dragon Talon. Issei changed his dress break to spell break. He could nullify small attacks based on energy and magic, but physical attacks and weapons were not affected. The two had a break after Issei hit his limit. "I'll get something to eat. Be right back," Ari replied. "I'll just, wait here," Issei said. Ari giggled. After she left the training zone, Issei caught his breath and finally felt bad that Ari is doing too much and he's just sitting here. Issei got up and went to go help her. When he reached the kitchen, he heard singing. It was Ari singing. Issei was charmed by her voice, and she didn't have to put a spell on him for that. Issei loved every second of her singing. Once she finished, Issei entered the kitchen and started helping, even though she told him to rest. "This may be the sun, but I heard you singing. You have a talent. Would it be okay if I heard you sing again?" Issei said. Ari blushed at the compliment. She didn't know Issei heard her sing, but was glad someone loved it. His ability to hide his presence was very, very impressive. "I don't see why not," Ari said. Ross Vaisa, Azazel, and Yakuza were now no longer worried. Ross Vaisa went on a shopping spree anywhere there was a sale. Azazel got to relax in Kyoto, and Yakuza brought back Koho home. In those remaining 2 weeks, Issei and Ari got to spend time with each other. One day before they leave, Issei and Ari stayed up and watched the shooting stars. "Beautiful," Ari said. "Yeah, hey, if you don't mind me asking, how were you born with hollow powers?" Issei replied. "Just before I was born, my mother was bitten by a hollow. People of my kind stopped it from killing us both. After I was born, my mother was too weak to continue living. All her energy was used up bringing me into the world and keeping herself from turning into a hollow. She resisted it till the end." "I'm sorry," Issei said. "No need. It's a fair question. As far as we know, you and I are kind." Issei saw her blush a little, even under the starlight. He thanked his lucky stars for his ability to see in the dark. "Issei, will you visit again soon?" Ari replied. "I believe I will. After all, you help, and Lady Yakuza helping me. I owe you both a great deal." "Then want to go on a date after your rating game?" Ari replied. "I would love to. I'm not afraid anymore," Issei replied. "You just said, copycat." "Sly fox, but cute," Issei said. Ari looked gorgeous in the starlight. He felt something. It was her love. For the first time, it's real connection, unlike what he used to have with the others. "You were right, us being two of a kind." Ari just sat there in surprise. "We are hollows with hearts. Hollows with hearts. That is the most beautiful sentence I've ever heard." "Who knew the Red Dragon Emperor was quite the poet?" Ari replied. Both leaning on each other now during the starlight. The next morning, Issei, Azazel, and Ross Vaisa, who was now carrying dozens of shopping bags, said farewell and went home. Azazel opened the door, and Ross Vaisa, she goes in holding quite a few bags. Issei brings the rest. "Want to stay for lunch, Azazel?" Issei replies. "Thanks for the offer, but I've been away from the Gagora for 3 weeks. I got a lot of catching up to do," Azazel said. "Drop the case you want to take the offer." "Sure, kid. Take care." Azazel leaves Issei and Ross Vaisa at his house. The two go straight to her room, and Issei helps her unpack everything. "Thanks for helping me unpack." "Appreciate it," Ross Vaisa says. "No problem." "So, did a certain cute fox catch your eye?" Ross Vaisa. She winks, causing Issei to go completely red. "Not gonna lie, I'm going on a date with her after the rating game." The others immediately burst in. "What?" Rias replied. Well, hello to you too," Issei said. And that's the end of Chapter 8, Acceptance. That's where we're going to end off the video for now. Thank you guys for all the amazing support on this series, and you guys already know the like goal. It's 500 likes. Once again, What If Naruto Was Betrayed hopefully will come out in the next video, or it'll come back after the final part of What If Issei Finally Lost It. But thank you guys for all the support. Tell me some stories, or just link me some stories down in the comment section down below if you guys want to hear something specific, or just something you want to hear with my voiceover, or something that somebody did. You get my point, etc. So thank you guys once again for all the support. Let's try to hit some 500 likes. Thank you to the new channel members who joined. So if you guys don't know what the channel membership button is, it's a little blue button right next to the subscribe button. I tell you guys when I upload when you join the channel memberships. So thank you so much for all the support. Once again, 22,000 subscribers once again is probably the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Just thank you all for the support. And without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.